Okay, so in this video we're going to look at the topic of animations and how we can create, I suppose, a video demonstration of our assembled maybe final product or maybe our design proposal or something like that. Okay, so a video maybe just showing the operation of a product or a model. So how we go about that is we've got to open up and usually we're working with an assembly. Now you can still create these with parts, but really get the most kind of powerful output with an assembly. So I'm just going to open up an example assembly. Now that we have the assembly open, what we do is we actually go into a different tab down here called the Motion Study tab. Click into that and it gives us some new tools that we can create. And what we're doing is we're doing an animation. Okay, so that gets us into the animation mode. And really down here in this bottom screen is really where all the important stuff happens for animation. You can see we've got kind of our timeline here of how long our video is going to be. So I can, drag this up and down and place this bar at a particular area along the timeline, and I can do actions at those points. So this is our timeline, very important. Over here, you can see we've got kind of our features. So we've got each of the components which we can create actions on. So maybe change color and do some movement, change transparency or explosions. We can do those controls within it. We've also got how we can control our view orientations and our lights and cameras from here. Okay, so they're very important. Along the top, we've also got some control bars. We can press play from the start, pause, stop, speed up our video from here. And what we can also do is calculate. If we're doing any motion, we need to do some calculating motion there. So we'll come to that later. The main thing we get kind of little wizards here. We can add in different motors and some different tools. But the very important one is this kind of key point. Every time you place a key point along the timeline, you can do an action. Okay. So the first thing we're going to look at just really quickly is that we're going to check out, we're going to do some different views. And generally when you start making a video, you start with different views. Okay, so we can take these key points and we can copy them, and then we can paste them in again, and they all stay along. See that orientation row? So that's everything, because we're doing stuff to change the orientation, and we can keep placing keys along. You can also just bring your toolbar up and add a key in through this way here. We can add them in and place the key, or you can even just copy in with the shortcuts and place them on. So at each point, you'll see that key point is going to do something at 15 seconds. This key point is going to do something at 10 seconds. I could even move that to do it at, let's see, 6, 7, at 8 seconds. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the view orientation at each time. So at the start, we're going to set it to, let's just look at an isometric view. And then when we get to here, we want it to change maybe a front view. Here we could do a back view, and then we can finish up again with our isometric view. So, and you'll see as I move this timeline bar, it's starting from that front view, and then it's moving to an isometric view. So between, say, 8 seconds and 15 seconds, it's going to transition from that view to another view. Okay, and we can press play from the start, and you'll see it's going through all those different types of views for us. So at this point, we want it to be exactly at maybe the front view, because that's what we've set it to be at. Okay. What's also brilliant is we've got this animation wizard where we can import an explosion or a collapsion. Now the very important thing is that we must set up the explosion or collapsion first within the model view. So you do your usual exploded view within the model. We set up our exploded view, so we pull all our components out in the kind of steps that we want them to go in. Let's just do this nice and quickly. There's a little key. Okay, we can do that there. Okay, just for an example, we can save that explosion, and once you have your explosion within your configuration, that will then allow you to import it into your timeline. So what we can do is, notice that we finished off at 15 seconds. So we want to create an explosion, bring that in, and we'll say, well, this explosion, we'll say it'll over 10 seconds, it will complete the explosion, and we'll start it just say at the 20-second mark. So we'll start at 20 seconds, last for 10 seconds, and do an explosion for us. And it adds all those key points in for us, right where each of those components will be moving. So really handy. You could do it manually, but the explosion wizard is excellent. Now, because there's movement going on, it's always useful just to calculate the motion of what's happening. So it'll go through and just calculate that out so it does it nice and smoothly, and you can see everything happening as we wished there. So we have a nice explosion that will happen during that point. And then what you can also do is you can go in kind of pinpoint different parts of the assembly. So let's just say we look at one of the supports. I can go in, and again I can use the key points, and if I go across a certain row, if I place a key point along this row, it'll do some movement, or I can edit its explosion, or what's really important is we edit some of the appearance. So look, if I place a key point, just say I copy that key point, and I can paste it in here at the 5-second mark. You know, what I could do is, because this line here is now on that key point, if I right click on the component, or sorry, on the appearance, and I hide it, you'll see it's now doing something with the appearance to then. So at that time, this particular 5 seconds, it's going to be hidden. Here it's going to be shown, and at that point it's going to be hidden. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another key point. So copy a key point, and then again place the key here, add its appearance, right click on appearance, I'm going to show it. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to edit its appearance, and I'm going to change its color, let's say to pink. Okay, click OK. Now what we can do is if we play that from the start, you'll see it starts to fade away because I'm hiding it at this particular point, and then it starts to come back, and I'm starting to bring it to a different color, and it's still going through all those views, and then it will eventually start the explosion where we want it to do. So they're the kind of main features and tools that we use. It's all about these key points, adding them into the timeline, right clicking them and changing them to do what we want it to do, basically. And we can control each part here. We can even edit parts where the mates turns on, or you know, we could add in a motor to do some rotational movement. You can add in a motor very easily here, and then that'll start things to move and to spin. So it's just a case of playing around with it and being creative as possible to get where you need to be with it. When you're finished, you just go into save the animation, give it a name. Depending on your computer, will depend how long it takes to process, and you can save it as an AVI file, which you can easily communicate to your customers, and they don't need to have Solidworks or anything like that to work with it. So that's pretty much the basics of animations. Really simple tools, just using the key points, but can get really advanced, due to your creativity or whatever you want to try and create with it.